So what does all this mean for the country? Will Netanyahu's reign as Israel's longest-serving prime minister actually come to an end? And if so, what will the new government look like, especially considering that the deadlock is still as bad as ever? Joining me to discuss, political commentator Tammi Molad Hayo and Jeremy Saltan, political strategist and director of English operations for the Yamina party. Thank you both so much for being with us. Now, Jeremy, I'll actually start with you. Are we moving forward with any of these developments, or is this insignificant news as our stalemate, amidst our stalemate situation right now?
Well, on one side you can say it's symbolic. On the other side, you can say that it's significant. I think in another week or two, we'll be able to go back to yesterday and really understand where that date fell within what happened afterwards. Obviously, this is something that's a blow to Netanyahu, and it's something that's a big victory for Lapid. And Lapid deserves credit for being able to pull this off. Very few people expected Mansour Abbas to go ahead and jump over from Netanyahu over to Lapid. A lot of people did not see Gideon Sa'ar being willing to vote for such a thing, knowing the things that Mansour Abbas got in the package deal in order for support for this. So, I'll take my hat off also to Lapid and be able to pull this off. We'll see if it matters, but it's hard to know at this point.
Well, Tammi, I want to bring it over to you. Same, what are your thoughts and what are Netanyahu's options at this point? Is his reign over, or could he possibly still pull through?
Well, we can all hope, but actually we're just spectator in a big game. It's a game. It's nothing more than a political game. Everybody is stretching their political muscles, and that's it. Because it was a victory for Lapid, but it was not. Netanyahu didn't lose here. It's not that significant because he can still stop the Knesset from passing whatever he wants. The stalemate is still here. Whether Netanyahu will form a government or Lapid Bennett will form a government, it doesn't matter. Whatever government we're going to have is not going to survive for long because they just don't have the enough players to play a long run game. Neither one of them.
So, Jeremy, where is Naftali Bennett in all of this? Because if it comes down to fifth elections or sitting in a possible coalition with Lapid and Arab parties, etc., he has previously said that he would do anything to avoid fifth elections. Will he stand by that?
Yamina stands by that position. Naftali said in every public appearance he's had since the election, they're just going to do what's right for Israel and do everything possible to go ahead and prevent a fifth election. And that's exactly what he's going to go ahead and do.
That means sitting with Lapid and the Netanyahu bloc, which includes Arab parties?
We can talk about hypotheticals and scenarios from here till tomorrow. The current scenario that we're dealing with right now is that Netanyahu has the mandate. Bennett was very happy to meet with both.
But he doesn't have the votes.
Okay, so he met with both Netanyahu and Lapid before we got to the president's residence. As I told you, time and time again, that we nominated Bennett for prime minister in the president's residence. The president saw what happened with the nominations, the three candidates. He made a decision to give it to Netanyahu. As we said, we would sit with whoever got the mandate. Netanyahu got the mandate. That's why we're sitting with him. We think that beyond anything else, Israelis just want a government. They don't care if it's right. They don't care if it's left. They don't care, frankly, who's in the government. They just want to see a government. They want to see an end to this countless election after election. And we're going to do everything that we can to be able to stop that. It's very difficult to go ahead and talk about further mandates or scenarios. We're in one right now where Netanyahu has the mandate. That's where we're living right now. We're working on that. If that doesn't work, and like you said, it's going to be very difficult at the current point, and I agree with you on that, for him to be able to realize his mandate. But assuming that he's not able to, we'll see what the president decides. By the way, there are four options in terms of what the president can do once he gets to the end of the 28 days. But
he could give the mandate to Lapid. He could allow the Knesset members to vote for somebody, or he could.
Well, he doesn't necessarily need to give it to Lapid. He could give it to Bennett. He could extend the mandate for Netanyahu and become very active. But look, there are different things that can happen. Instead of going through all the scenarios, let's see what the president decides. We're right now at the end of the 28-day period, or at least in the second half. Let's see what happens with what Netanyahu.
Tammi, I want to come back to you. Again, is it possible that the anti-Netanyahu bloc could actually form a coalition that is viable, especially long-term? We know that Lapid has been calling more and more for a centrist unity bloc, which I assume would require some of the right-wing bloc, the pro-Netanyahu bloc, to jump ship.
Well, I doubt it very much, but I think one thing has happened. I think Bennett is is not he's not the key player anymore. Abbas is again, and we'll have to wait. But I really don't see a government. It doesn't matter who heads the government. I really don't see a government that will last long, because at the end of the day, they have to deal with issues that they just can't agree upon. I think maybe the deal breaker can be if the ultra-Orthodox will decide not to stay with Netanyahu, and that is also a possibility. But I doubt whether Lieberman will be able to sit with them or Meretz will be able to sit with them. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't think whether Netanyahu is prime minister or not prime minister is the only issue at hand here.
So what impact?
There are other really. Yeah.
What impact, if any, might this arrangement committee overturning have on Netanyahu's bid to pass a one-time direct vote for prime minister?
Well, without a minister of law, without the committee working, then there will be no law will be passed, none whatsoever. And at the end of the day, I think that Netanyahu also knows that it's not viable anyway. It's just like a test that it's part of the game. He's playing the game. He wants to see how the public will react, how the politicians will react, but that's about it. Nothing more.
All right. Tammi Molad Hayo, Jeremy Saltan, thank you both so much for being with us.